Your teacher, and I was a teacher before, now I work with teachers, okay? So I'm here to kind of talk through some things when we talk about reading and what makes us good readers. How, as a teacher, can I help you be a good, better reader? There's one of the things we talk about, and that's called questioning, asking yourself questions when you read, right? So I'm a teacher, and teachers ask a lot of questions, don't they? And when they ask you questions, and then you go and find the answer. Today I want you to think about you asking questions. And not just questions like, oh, what does that word mean? Questions as if you were a teacher, where the answer is going to be on the paper. Because when you take a test, the teacher's gonna ask you a question, you're gonna find the answer, right? And it's gonna be in here. Now I'm gonna switch it around, and you're gonna ask the question. And the answer is going to be in here, okay? I want you to start thinking like a teacher does and questioning things while you read it. Because if you can ask the question, you definitely can find the answer. And that's going to help you as a reader in school, in all the grades you're in, and anytime you're reading, is those questioning skills. Now, there's two kinds of questions. There's the question where you're saying, oh, I wonder what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. But we don't really know the answer, right? Or I wonder what's gonna happen in this story, but we don't really even have the answer. This kind of questioning is different. This question, the answer is in what we're reading. The answer is here. So how do we come up with a question where the answer is here in the text? We're gonna practice. I have one simple sentence. I hope everyone can see it. If not, I'll read it out loud. Can I move this board a little bit, or no? Okay, never mind. John likes to play baseball. That's our sentence. Very simple. We're gonna think of a question as if you're the teacher. It's gotta start with who, what, where, why, when, who. Did I repeat? I did. I repeated who. It's how. So who, what, where, why, when, or how. That's how we're gonna start our question. Because as a teacher, if I ask you a question about this, that's how I'm gonna start my question, with one of those words. So let's practice with John likes to play baseball. I'm gonna start a who question. What do you think I'm gonna ask? Yes? Perfect. I'm gonna ask, who likes to play baseball? And what's the answer? John. Really obvious when you just read it, right? This is what I want you to think about when you're reading, is these kind of questions. Because good readers ask these questions and then they have the answer. So here's another one. What? How about a what question? John likes to play baseball. Let's ask a what question. Yes? What does John like to play? Baseball. How do you know? Because that's what it says, right? Who likes to play baseball? John. How do you know? Because that's what it says. That's how you know that that's the answer. It's right there in the text. So let's do another simple sentence. Mary likes to swim in the lake. Okay, now we're going to add another one. Who can come up with a who question where the answer is in the sentence? Mary likes to swim in the lake. Who likes to swim in the lake? And what's the answer? How do you know? It's right there. Awesome. I knew they would be good questioners, I can tell. Okay, Mary likes to swim in the lake. How about a what question?
What does Mary like to do?
And what's the answer?
Swim in the lake.
Yes, that's awesome. See what we do as teachers? This is how we come up with questions. Same within your book. Whenever you see questions after you read something, this is how they do it. What about where? Now we can ask a where.
Where does Mary like to swim?
Where does Mary like to swim? What's the answer?
In the lake.
And how do you know? It's in the text. So that's just one simple sentence. So, and you guys are way beyond that, right? So what I did is I pulled a text about Spanish guitars. And it could be about anything. Anytime you read in school, you're gonna be reading something, and we're gonna practice doing this with what you actually read. So I'm gonna pass these out. And you're not gonna keep these, we're gonna get them back from you because we're gonna use them with other classes. But so just think about exactly what we just did with those sentences, and think about who, what, where, when, why, and how. And we're gonna practice with this. Spanish guitars. Early guitars looked different from today's guitars. They were not as wide as modern guitars, and they had a different number of strings. In the late 1800s, a Spanish guitar maker changed the instrument shape. His guitars looked more like the ones we play today. So just with that paragraph, we're gonna start practicing our question. How about any of these? I'm gonna start with who. Let's start with a who question. Can we ask a who question where the answer is here in that paragraph? Just look at it for a moment. Think about it. Go ahead.
Who changed the instrument shape?
That was exactly gonna be mine. Who changed the instrument shape? Who could answer it?
A Spanish guitar maker.
Right. And where'd you get the answer? Right, right. Change the instrument shape. So who changed the instrument shape? She looked over here. A Spanish guitar maker. When? How about a when question? Because there's dates in here, so we can ask a when. Let's ask a when question.
Why did the Spanish guitar maker change the instrument shape?
Exactly. Those are just exact questions that a teacher's gonna ask you, or one of your books is gonna ask you, and you're gonna go right in there and find the answer, right? So when did a Spanish guitar maker change the shape? In the late 1800s. You starting to understand where our answers come from with those type of questions? So anytime you come to the end of a reading and there's questions, all the answers are in the text. Unless it's having you think of what do you think would be a great ending, or what do you, if we change something, those kind of questions. Those are different. Those are imagination or prediction type questions. But these text-based questions, the answers are always here. And when you take state tests, those big state tests, it's always this kind of questioning. So it's kind of like a game. You know the answer's in there, you just have to find it. And if you practice questioning, you're gonna kind of feel that rhythm of doing that. It's gonna help you as a reader. Any others? Can we do, yeah, here's what I'm gonna have you do. If you just work with a partner real quick, if you guys could get together, come up with just one more question for that paragraph. You don't have to do the whole text, just that first paragraph. Just come up with generate one question. Who, what, where, why, or how. We gave you a couple, but just work with your partner just for about 5-6 minutes, and if you need some help, I can come around. You and your partner generate one question, and then you're gonna ask everybody else that question. Good? Okay. Do you typically pair up certain ones or nothing?
We do it different, yeah. Why don't you two could work together, you're close, Jesus, why don't you come over here? Probably, let's see, you could go, Leah and Angela together, why don't you go with Edwin, and you three up here, pay attention, you three up here, why don't you guys work together? So
Just
come up,
one question.
before you wait, I didn't give you somebody. Victor, you could go back there and work with Angel. And then you're with Elizabeth. So one question with your partner. You guys can move your desk closer if you want, or move back. You're gonna come up here, work with her. You're with her. You two right here.
Yeah.
So come up with
Yeah,
one
just
question
one
like she's saying.
Yeah.
So what you use, who and when, right? So you gotta come up with one of the other ones. Okay, come on, you gotta talk to your partner. Come on, Elizabeth, there's your opportunity. Come up with one question.
You're the teacher. You're coming up with a little quiz for your
See if you
students.
can come up with a why one, that's kinda harder.
Well, sometimes the answer's not in there.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
gotta kind of test it out.
Yeah, you gotta look, you're right, let me see if there's one with why in the first one. Yeah, I might, that might be a hard one there for that paragraph. Come up with a question using some of those words.
Who, what, where, why, when, how. Just start off one question with one of those. Starting with what is usually the easiest, if you need some help with that. What questions are usually the easiest?
See if you can come up with a one question. Okay, go ahead, talk to your partner. Oh, what, you got
You
it?
guys got one?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
good.
it.
Do you guys have a question? Oh, good. Okay. You guys good over here? Oh, great. All right. Who wants to start? Whoever wants to start. Ask your question. We'll see if we can come up with the answer. You guys want to start? Okay. We'll have them
Go
go. You
ahead.
guys want to go first?
What guitars look different from today's guitars?
Say that again. I didn't hear you say.
What guitars look different from today's guitars?
Oh, I like it. What guitars look different than today's guitars? That's a good one. Who wants to answer? What guitars look different from today's guitar? So here's one of the things, here's my cue. What looks different from today's guitars? I usually go backwards in that sentence. Right. There's the answer. That's how questions are usually generated. And the answer is somewhere in there. That's a great question. Do you guys want to go? What's your question?
What or how did early guitars look like?
Oh, good. What or how did early guitars look like?
Like the ones we play today?
Say that again?
Like the ones we play today?
Is that the answer you guys wanted?
They were not as wide and had a different number of strings.
Okay, they were not as wide as modern guitars and they had different number of strings. Good answer. And good question. Do you guys have a question?
What had a different amount of strings?
What had a different amount of strings? Is that the question? What had a different amount of strings? Pardon? Early guitars. See where the answer is? When you start thinking like this, You start seeing the answers like a lot quicker, don't you? How about over here? You guys have a question? Okay, how about you guys? Did you have a question? Oh, you asked yours, right? Did you have a question back there? No? Let's see if we can come up with, we already used when. Let's keep reading and see if we can generate another one together. Guitars became very popular in Spain, where a special type of guitar music was developed. However, some musicians didn't respect the instrument because composers of classical music did not write music for the guitar. They thought it couldn't be used to play classical music. Wow, now we got a lot more to ask about, right? How about a where? Where were guitars very popular?
In Spain.
In Spain. Anybody come up with another one now that we have a lot more information?
How about why? There's a good why one there.
Yeah, there's a good why one there.
Why didn't some musicians respect the instrument?
I love it. That would be a really good question a teacher would ask. Why did some musicians not respect the instrument? That's kind of what that whole second paragraph is about. That's a next level question. That's called a main idea question, which is really great. We ask questions about details, like, oh, when, but that's like about the big no. Why didn't some musicians respect the guitar? And then it tells us. Musicians didn't respect the instrument because the composers, and there's our answer. The author gives us the answer. As Spanish musicians changed people's ideas about the guitar. He played classical music that had never before been played on the guitar. He also wrote his own music for the guitar. Today, the guitar is one of the most popular musical instruments. Look at all that now that we can question and ask questions about. One more question. Everybody got one from all of that? You're the teacher and you're gonna give a quiz. We just had to read this and you're gonna give us a quiz before we walk out the door. What's one question you would ask? Say it real loud and sorry.
Who has played classical music that has never been played before?
Who has played classical music that has never been played before? On the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Right, a Spanish musician. Right? He changed people's ideas about the guitar. He played classical music that had never been played before. So just her words in her question, we can go find, and then you know the answer's nearby. So I took her words from the question, and I went and searched for the answer. All right, well, that's our little practice. You can practice these questioning skills in any subject, not only in this class, in all your other classes. Anytime you read anything, you can practice this on the side of a cereal box. Anything you're looking at, generate one question. Generate one of those questions, and that practice gets you thinking about that, and then you'll be able to find answers, and because that's what good readers do. They question, and answer, question, and answer. So I hope you found that helpful when you're thinking about your reading and trying to understand. Because I think right now, if I gave you a test on Spanish guitars based on this, I think you'd all get an A. Just because we generated so many questions and found the answers before we even took the quiz or test, right? All right,
Okay, thank you.
thanks for
Thank
letting
you.
me practice with you, and I'll take the reading. We're gonna use this with other classes.